I have to confess that I have been so excited to do this interview because I find the work that Ryan does absolutely fascinating. And I tell him that all the time. It's a lot of work. And so first, I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Grooms has been the equipment manager at Notre Dame for 7 years.
7 years.
And he's got a big job and an all-consuming job. And the only reason he can do his job so well is because his beautiful wife, Lindsay, is here with us tonight. Lindsay?
It's very true. It's very true. A very forgiving wife.
So, but besides Lindsay, who else is at your house?
We got 2 little boys, Easton and Brecken. Easton's turning 6 here in about a month, and then Brecken is 3.5, and I think that one runs the house. I think that one runs the house for sure. So those 2 boys, they're in charge.
There's always one.
Absolutely.
So tell us, how did you end up at Notre Dame?
Very bizarre story, actually. I was previously the head equipment manager at University of Notre Dame, or at University of Minnesota. I was on my way out to go ice fishing on a Friday afternoon and got a phone call from Chad Klunder, who's our associate athletic director for football operations, and the job opened up. Coach Kelly had just got here in December. This was in February. I got the phone call, and it kind of went from there. So didn't know the job was open, wasn't looking for it, really didn't have any interest of leaving Minnesota, but when Notre Dame calls, you go. So it worked out well for us.
I remember when you came. Because I had been here not very long. And when you appeared on the scene, I thought he couldn't possibly be the equipment manager because you look so youthful.
So,
and yet you came with such great experience.
So I was at University of Minnesota in the same role for 2 seasons. I was at the Air Force Academy for 5 seasons as the assistant equipment manager. I was a graduate assistant at Marshall. I was a student manager at Ohio University, which is where I got my degree, and did a little internship with the New Orleans Saints as well. So I know it very well. I've done it for quite a while, and it's landed me here at this wonderful place. So I'm very fortunate and very thankful to be here.
But I think you have some family ties to this place, right?
I do. Scott Grooms was a quarterback. I believe he was a class 84, 85.
My class.
Your class, that's right. So I think the story goes that Scott started one game at quarterback, broke his collarbone, and then never got back on the field. And I hear from Scott more now than I ever have since I work here because he's always looking for a T-shirt and hat. So, but Scott did play here back in the 80s.
That's great. So where did you grow up?
Southern Ohio, Chillicothe, Frankfort, Ohio, outside of Chillicothe. Nobody knows of Frankfort.
Do we have anybody from Frankfort?
Ohio? No?
We got some Ohio.
No.
Anybody Ohioans? Good.
Frankfort, Ohio, you know Frankfort?
Another one over here.
Courthouse? You know Courthouse, that's not far at all, so that's great. So there's no stoplights in my town, truly, no stoplights. Small class, I graduated with about 70 people from my high school. My folks are still there. My brother is actually in this world of football as well. He's the director of football operations at Vanderbilt. So we both kind of ventured out. We both went to Ohio University, and then he went and worked at Wake Forest and coached a couple other places, and he's now at Vandy. And I told you my story from Ohio to Marshall and ended up here.
So one of the things that I remember was when we played actually at the Air Force Academy. Mm-hmm. And driving there, I saw the 18-wheeler. And it's so beautiful. And when it's in a place where you're not expecting it, because they were on their way, I was incredibly excited. But that's when I realized somebody had to figure out every single thing that goes into that, and who's driving it, and when does it leave, and tell us a little bit about the preparation for an away game.
So it's a little crazy to get an away game ready. We have a very good checks and system balance set in place. Adam Myers is my assistant. Adam's been my assistant since at Minnesota, so we've been together for 9 seasons. So we have a very good relationship of knowing who needs to do what needs to get done at which point during the week. So Adam is in charge of these bad boys up here. So Adam repairs the helmet. So let's just say we have that's a great look. I'm gonna do this too. Okay. So Adam.
I'm guessing that yours is bigger than mine because dang, this is tight.
So Adam's responsible for repairing the helmets. As everybody knows, we switched from painting the helmets back in 2011. It was October 22nd. 2011 was the first game that we switched to our hydrographic gold helmet. So when this gets damaged or scratched, Adam's in charge of making these look perfect each week. So once these helmets are done, that's the biggest task for the week, to make sure that the helmets are ready. Everything else, following on a home game, the coaches are in different outfits, the players are in different outfits. As we've got obviously a great relationship with Under Armour. Our apparel that we wear is completely different for home and away games. So we're able to kind of prep the week before as we get ready. Let's just say we're going back to the Air Force Academy and we had a home game. So that truck's got to leave. It's probably, I'm guessing, a 16 to 18 hour drive from here. It's got to leave because there's a certain number of hours that they can only do on the road. There's 2 drivers. There are limitations with whatever that's called, their license that they have. Fortunately, I don't have to drive the truck. I fly with the team. We've got to get that truck ready to go probably by Tuesday night when we leave on Tuesday, so that it can pull out early 4, 5, 6 a.m. on Wednesday, so it can get there on Friday, Thursday evening, and be ready to go Friday morning. Adam or myself will fly out on Thursday mid-afternoon, get in there so that we're ready to set up the stadium at the visiting site on Friday. So, as you go in, it's a 53-foot semi, and we use literally 52.5 feet of it, just enough room to shut the doors and have a lock bar so that the stuff doesn't slide around. So we're packing everything. We can't trust a player to do it, because if we do that, it won't make it on the trip. We can't trust a coach to do it, because what's a coach? A coach is a former player. So I've got a full-blown saying that's not appropriate with some children around here of what coaches are working their way up from players. But really, we can't rely on anything to get brought by anybody else, and we don't want to, and it's not a negative way that we look at it, that we don't want to trust so-and-so to bring something. It's just that if we bring it, we know it's there and there's no issue. So that's why we kind of go through our list intensively throughout the week. As we pack the truck, we're both out there. I've got such an incredible group of student managers. I've got 24 on a day-to-day basis, and my 3 senior managers are such a lifesaver to me of how they handle their workload and 40 to 50 hours of work during the week that they do as a student. So I've got a great team in place that really helps me get everything done effectively for an away game.
So how much does it change from game to game? So I had the great privilege, I think that's the word I would use, to be at the NC State game.
It wasn't a privilege.
It was the most wet I've ever been in my life, and it never stopped for those of you who watched it. So how did that change? Once you knew the NC State game was going to involve a hurricane, what changed?
Honestly, not a whole lot. I would say the only extra thing that we took would be an extra cart of towels, because everything we take, we prepare for a sudden change anyway. That a sudden change is such a football term of, balls fumbled, a defense is back on the field, or offense comes on the field, whatever it may be. But we have to be ready for any of that anyway. We knew that, I believe it was Hurricane Matthew, is that right?
I think that's right.
We knew it was going to be in the area.
I'm calling it Hurricane Ryan, just so you know.
That's what it was. So we had everything in place. We took extra. There's not a whole lot you can do for a football player, to be honest with you. Because they can't wear something to keep them dry. They can't do this, they can't do that. They have to wear their football uniform, their cleats. We take their detachable cleats. And that's really the only option that a player can do. It really comes down to keeping the coaches dry, keeping them happy, keeping their play sheets and everything that they have on the sideline dry. So I think we took, just to put a monetary value on, I think we probably took about $25,000 in Gore-Tex rain suits. Every single player, every single staff member, coach, I should say, switched at halftime. They changed from head to toe, socks, their undergarments, their game pants, the jerseys. We switched everything.
Where were you when I needed you?
Yeah, I know. I told you to find me, so you should have been hiding in that hallway. But we switched everything head to toe. Players got brand new shoes. We travel 3 or 4 pair of shoes per player per game. So they all had new shoes. And to be honest with you, it might have been pointless, because you walk back outside 5 minutes later, they were right back to where they were. But at least we had that rain delay. There was not a rain delay, but a lightning delay. Yeah. So we had that extra 10 minutes, and we needed that 10 to 15 minutes extra to get everybody switched out. Every coach got a new rain suit, new boots, new hats, new shirts, new everything. So we had it ready for them.
So I don't know about everybody here, but a lot of times when I go on a trip, I'll pack, and then I'll have this last-minute surge of there's extra room in that suitcase. So I'll just throw in an extra outfit and some more shoes.
Yep.
right? Do you ever have to do that for Coach Kelly?
Absolutely. Coach Kelly has his own trunk. So, and that's true. And I had that for the head coach I worked for at Minnesota. It's Coach is such a great ambassador for Under Armour and Notre Dame for the branding on the sideline, because he really, if I put it in his locker, he wears it. So we have it. We kind of decide what we're going to wear. We create a lookbook each year with Under Armour. It's mapped out. I mean, it's already decided what we're going to wear against Temple and what we're going to wear against Georgia. So it's ready to go, and it's set in stone, because that information is then handed over to the bookstore so that those outfits can be provided and ready for retail sales. So, that's the great thing about it, because for Coach, we have this trunk, and it literally has everything. In case he, for some reason, changed his mind on me and said, I want to wear that white shirt or gray shirt, we've got it. So everything that we get during a year, it's in that trunk. So just in case. He's never gone to it, but it's ready.
So we're talking in particular about, what it's like to go to an away game and to drive a truck. But you can't drive a truck to Dublin.
Yeah.
So how did you prepare? How did you ship? How did you get everything to Dublin?
So fortunately, we took a plane that was large enough to put all of our equipment on. That was a unique experience in my career that I'm glad we haven't done it since. So I'm ready to go back. I would love to do that, have that opportunity again. But it was a lot of work that went into that, a lot of planning. We did a site visit in May. Chad Clunder and myself, we went over and kind of scoped it out. And we took the whole team, and we fit 110 or 105 players in a room from these two pillars. We had two little rooms, so we squeezed them in there and made them dress in shifts. But the challenge was we had to create a carnet book, which is our document showing everything that we took to go through customs. And I spent a ton of time. I mean, if we took, like this right here, we have a trunk to travel 30 helmets. Chin straps, the screws, everything that was on a helmet, we had to break down individually, like these little buttons. So there's 2 on each helmet, so there's 60 in that trunk, and it had to be itemized and priced out. So I really detailed everything. We show up at customs, we flew through the night, and so I go with my book. I've prepared this book. I'm ready to go to meet with customs, and the guy literally looks good. I said, no, you're going to look at something. He goes, I don't need to. It looks pretty organized. I said, you know how much time I spent on this? He goes, I don't care. You're ready to go. So
that's great. Do you always take the extra chin straps and screws and everything?
So, we travel 70 to 75 players on an away game. Our helmet trunks have room for 30 each. We have 4 of them. So there's 120 helmets that go to every game. Then we have a sideline trunk that has another 15 extra helmets. Your key players, and I don't want to pinpoint any of them, but like this is Mike McGlinchey's backup helmet right here. He's the only one that had this face mask. Deshaun this past season, anybody who's a high impact player, somebody who's susceptible to get a hard hit that it could mess up, we have a helmet ready to go. It's already fit for their chin strap. It could go on somebody else and we could change it quickly, but our key players who are on the field a lot, we kind of tend to have their extras ready to go.
So what was that one moment during a game where you went, oh, I can't believe I don't have another one of those?
I don't want you to ask me that question. I don't think I've had that moment yet.
Nice.
When I was in grad school, and I'll have to take the blame because I was in charge of packing the trunk, we forgot the kicking net for the kickers. So we went to Walmart and bought a youth soccer net and put it on the sideline. And the head equipment guy took it home and had a soccer goal for his daughter.
That's
so that's the one thing I know we've forgotten in the past, but that wasn't since I've been at Notre Dame.
So home games. What does the preparation for a home game look like for you? And what do you do on the sidelines during any game, home or away?
Hopefully I don't do anything. I know that sounds bad, but my goal is to do nothing during the game. So I stay close to Coach Kelly. I like to think of that, I'm there to fix problems. If something goes wrong, if he's looking for somebody, I'm kind of the go-to to help locate that person. I'm really waiting for a helmet issue, a uniform issue. We've had to sew jerseys up on the sideline. We've had helmets do break, face masks that are damaged. We got to switch it out. So that's the stuff we're looking for. But honestly, we're trying to do as little as possible because of all our prep work and then our post work. We're several hours after the game as well to finish and clean up.
So you've been doing this now for 7 seasons. Is there one game, one moment, one thing that stands out as the memory that you'll never forget?
Absolutely. 2012 season, beat USC at the Coliseum, 12-0, going to the national championship, nothing like it. So I just got chills thinking about it. I'll never forget that moment. It was incredible. Wish we would have got one more, but that's my favorite sports memory. That and my very first game here. I run out with the team. We played Purdue 2010, and there's nothing like running out of that tunnel.
So you're a bit of a social media celebrity, right? Twitter, isn't it? Isn't that you've got a huge following? Tell us how you started that, and what do you use it for? And
it started off just one of my senior managers, my first year, Sean Kearns. I am not a technology. I don't do Facebook. I don't do social media stuff. My wife is good at Facebook, as we've talked about. So, but anyway, he said, you should start a Twitter page for the equipment room. And I said, I don't even know what a Twitter page is. And we started it, and I remember we went up to lunch. It was during the bowl season, bowl practice for the El Paso Bowl, Braxton Cave and Kyle Rudolph. I said, hey, we started a Twitter page. Give us a shout out. And literally within 20 minutes, we had 500 followers. And it's kind of taken off. And I haven't looked. I think it's around 25,000 now.
It is 25,000
in that ballpark. So it's been fun. Those first couple years. I've got a lot of mean messages on Twitter as well. It's
no.
Yeah. So it's been fun. I love to when we get helmets in or shipments of shirts and just kind of post some stuff. I've really seen that's what I speak volumes of Notre Dame and how Notre Dame, everybody says, oh, you got such a big Twitter page. I said, Notre Dame has big Twitter pages. I said, I'm just a part of it because there's not another equipment room, I don't think, that has something this big because there's not this fan base, which is amazing. The people who follow us, and when I say us, I mean our athletic program and football and the equipment room. Nobody cares about the equipment room, but people do, and it's amazing to see that following that Notre Dame provides and this fan support throughout the country.
So you've been really gracious. Ryan has given us the helmets after, in particular, the Shamrock Series each year for us to display in the Alumni Association in the Visitor Center area. And I'm always just tickled how many people stop, and it's in a glass case, and they just want their picture taken there. So how does that play itself out in terms of people's passion for these helmets?
It's crazy. The passion, I think, for this helmet in particular was much more welcoming and accepting right away when we made this transition. This was very positive. When we did that helmet for Chicago Shamrock Series in 2012, that was probably from the fan base perspective, the feedback that I got was the least liked. And to be honest with you, it's one of my favorites. I love the Leprechaun. I absolutely love it. I put it on all of our coaches' briefcases, have the Leprechaun. I'll put it on anything I can, our shirts, our workout apparel. But it was just so unique. The challenges that we went through to do that, to turn the Leprechaun because it wasn't facing the trademarked way, both on the helmet and on the pant. That to me was pretty special. And we're undefeated in Shamrock games, and that was, I think, 51 or 48-3 against Miami, so we're not going to complain about that. But it's amazing to see all the Shamrock stuff, and from the transition from Adidas, which we had a great relationship with Adidas, and such good friends that still work there, but now our relationship with Under Armour and how they go through and their design and the time that they spend on campus to get to know us. I mean, they'll come to campus, they're designers, and not even tell us, don't even meet with us, and they just get to know Notre Dame, which is amazing, and that's a big task in itself. It's something I struggled with my first couple of years, but you have to really and just entrench yourself with this place to get to know it because you can't understand it from the outside.
So the Shamrock Series presents a whole new set of challenges when it comes to the work that you do. Tell us about that.
So it's brand new helmets. We wear them for one practice before. We're breaking in brand new helmets for the guys. We'll switch out their chin straps, their jaw pads. The jerseys, once we make the tweaks at the beginning of the year, that stuff is already done. Like it's everything for our uniforms was due, our entire Under Armour order was due in October. So everything that's for 2017 football season is done. I think it was October, 15th it was due. So it's done and in the books. But as far as Shamrock goes, pants for the coaches, shoes for the coaches, outfits for the coaches. We've even done game balls. We've done uniforms, obviously, for the players. And that's the biggest challenge, the cleats, because the guys need their time to break them in. We've really bumped up when we unveil it into August these last 2 seasons so that we have more time instead of unveiling it the week of the game, because we can't give it to the players if it's not unveiled. So it's been good that we're unveiling it in August, and I think the fans want to see it as early as possible as well.
I could just keep asking questions. What's the most unique thing that you take to an away game that people would say, really? Because like I was really surprised, I shouldn't be, that you take all the screws and everything. It makes sense.
No.
What are other things like that that we'd all say, wow?
I mean, we take beef jerky, we take Big League Chew, we take Double Bubble. The players they get gum. We take snacks for the coaches. We take the toiletries for the coaches. There's I'd say the coolest thing that we take is the Play Like a Champion sign, the Play Like a Champion today, and that's our travel sign. And the senior manager each year, who's my equipment guy, it's broken down into 3 parts. They get that sign each year. So that's something that's kind of cool, because it's everybody knows the Play Like a Champion today sign, and for us to take it on. It's amazing when we go set up a visiting locker room, and even when we have a home game, the visiting team here always wants to come see our locker room. It's amazing how the home team, when we're the visitors, want to come see our locker room.
Oh, interesting.
To see the helmets, to see the sign. And it's when I was at the Air Force Academy, we played against Notre Dame, lost 1 year and beat Notre Dame 1 year. So we beat Notre Dame. The game was actually here. So it was I think Notre Dame was 3-9 that season. So not a great year for Notre Dame, but when I worked at Air Force, it was the greatest thing to ever happen, because, and Coach talks about it all the time, and everybody talks about it, if you beat Notre Dame, it makes your year. It's everybody gives their best game against Notre Dame, and it's pretty cool to be on the other side of it now. So it's really neat to see the other teams, and even in my role as the people, the excitement, and here come the Irish. So it's we're set up for everybody.
So one last question. I think we're going to have a chance to go to open question, but you know how you always read when stars go on the road, and you know they want 3 diet Sprites and this certain cookie and 18 mints and all of that, and you think, what is that? So you're among family. He won't care. What is it that Coach Kelly wants you to bring on the road that you?
I'll be honest with you. There's a couple coaches who we do need the tube of chapstick or the toothpaste or the toothbrush. Coach Kelly is probably the least amount of need that he has on game day. That man is so focused on game day. We talk, and that's kind of I'll meet him when he gets into the gate of the stadium, and we kind of walk in, we talk about the weather in the stadium, or if the wind's going, or if we're at an away game. When he gets off the bus, I walk him in, because they don't know where they're going. That's why we go a day early, and so I'm there to kind of get him his bearings. Coach Kelly's honestly as least needy as possible when it comes to game day. And if he wasn't, I wouldn't tell you anyway. So.
Yeah, I know you wouldn't. But I actually have watched him in action on game day.
Yes,
so.
But I am telling the truth.
Yeah. So we have a mic up here, and if you would like to ask Ryan a question, just raise your hand. We'd love to have some questions from all of you.
My wife does not get the microphone, Lucas, just so you know. So.
Yes. Who orders all of the equipment that you have, the jerseys, the helmets, the Under Armour stuff?
I do. That falls under my responsibility. I order, honestly, everything from head to toe. For that football team and staff, I order every single thing that comes into that building. Everything that you see at practice, on the field for a game, everything is I've ordered myself.
Who pays for it?
Not me, thank God. So it's our athletic budget. So.
Just in case, do you still have the green uniforms lying around somewhere?
The green uniforms are never too far out of reach if we need them.
One more.
Okay.
I think we have one over
Hello.
here.
Is gold leaf used on the helmets?
So it was used on the 2011 and 12 Shamrock Series helmets. That was the gold leaf 3x3 inch squares that were applied by the Troy Lee design team, and that's who did those helmets, and for the Maryland game and then the Miami game. So now this process is not a gold leaf. It's a water dip gold chrome, and then the texture is kind of sprayed into it. I've been out to Hydrographics. They're located in Oregon, and it's an amazing process. When you go onto their plant floor, they do all the Oregon helmets. Probably 80% of the specialty helmets that you see in college football, they're doing. So when you walk onto their floor, you have to turn your cell phone in. No pictures are allowed. So it's a really unique process they do. But it was just the 2 years that the gold leafing was done.
Why do they not make Stephen Curry cleats, but they make Michael Jordan cleats?
That's a great question. I tell you what, I'm heading to Nashville in the morning, and I have some meetings with Under Armour down there. I will bring it up to them, okay?
Good question. Can you just tweet that out?
Yeah, sure. I'll
Yeah.
get right on that, yeah.
No, you.
Okay, I'll do it. This question is for Micah. He has his hearing aids out, so he's not talking. He wants to know if he can put the helmet on his head.
Absolutely. Come on up, buddy. Let's get you this one with the chin strap, all right?
Do you have a camera?
Here, buddy. Can I help you?
Yeah.
How's that feel, huh? I'm gonna buckle you up, all right? This is what I do with all these big guys. You're more my size. Maybe. There you go. You turn around, show. Ready to take it off? Now, hold on. I'm gonna pull it apart, okay? There you go, buddy. All right.
That's great.
Future Irish.
Do we have more questions?
Out back there.
Why did you want to go to Notre Dame?
I tell you what, I tried to come to Notre Dame, and they wouldn't let me come to school here. So, no, why did I want to come to Notre Dame? I tell you what, buddy, this place is unlike nowhere else I've ever been. I've worked at several other schools. I made the best decision of my life when I took this job, because this is such a unique place. I tell my student managers, all the students and players that I get to be with every day, I say, I'm jealous of you because you do get your degree from this place. And I said, I just get to work here, which is great. I said, but you get to walk out of this place with a degree. There's nothing like it. And the lifetime experiences that you gain from it, there's no place in the world like Notre Dame.
Brian, do you have a question?
Scott, there's lots of changes happening on the, Ryan, I'm
I'll
sorry.
be Scott. I'll be Scott. I don't care.
Lots of changes on the coaching staff. You know, Brian Kelly's going to be our head coach next year. Have you noticed any changes in Brian Kelly since the season ended? Is he doing anything different? Does he seem different?
You know, that's the beauty of my job. I get to stay down in my hole in the equipment room, and I'll let him handle those questions. Coach has got his plan in place, and he's going to do a great job. I got to meet Chip Long got in the other day, our new offensive coordinator. I got to spend some time with him, just a few minutes. I think he's putting together a great staff, and we'll figure out how it all goes from there. And we start up school here in, I think, another week or so, and we'll be very, very anxious to get him back on the field and ready to go under a couple new coaches. So I think we'll be in great shape.
So I'll say, from an Alumni Association standpoint, that Coach Kelly has been exceedingly kind to the Alumni Association. When we've asked him to do something, he does it regularly. This year in May, he'll do 4 UND, Universal Notre Dame nights, all around the country. And I just came back from a meeting with other executive directors, and they all marvel at that. So I'm going to give Coach Kelly a plug here because he's been greatly under fire. That he's gracious and he's kind. He gives a lot of time. We ask him to do things, and he almost, I don't know that he said no. Maybe I should be asking a little bit more. And so I just want to say that with this crowd, that he's been really good to our alumni in lots of different ways. And I think that trickles down. You know, when I reached out to Ryan, he didn't even blink an eye. As a matter of fact, he changed. He was supposed to be in Nashville tomorrow, and came out tonight with that. So the entire football program has been really, really giving. And I just want to tell you how much we appreciate you and Lindsay coming out tonight, leaving those 2 little boys behind.
Yeah, we may have to go out and do something after this, you know.
So let's give a big hand for Ryan Grooms.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.